Here we go. Hey, everybody. We back again.
We back.
I'm Spencer. Of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
Dr. Nas. Nazareth. Big Nas. Big nasty draws Nas. Hold up.
Nasty draws.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we have our special guest for today, Vicky.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hello, therapist.
You sure about that?
Yep.
Both of you therapists? I don't know. My therapist knows how to spell. It's fucked up. I'm sorry.
We're both as fucked up as the therapist in the show today, so yeah.
That was me.
Vic almost spit out her juice.
And this is the Different Spectrums podcast, where we talk about movies, shows, and mental health. We also have some laughs, so don't take us too seriously.
Or do.
Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. Also, we have a Google Drive that has all information about apps, resources, all that fun stuff. So go check it out, and please leave a tip if you do use any of those resources that are in the Google Drive. That would really help us out. A lot of hours went into the Google Drive by Nas, and
interns.
We want to get paid.
Yep. Oh, real quick, pause on something.
Yes.
So yes, check out the resources, the Google Drive, the worksheets, tons of worksheets for mental health, anxiety, depression, relationships, all types of stuff in there. But specifically, I wanted to do this and I've been forgetting because the ADHD kicks in. Shout out to New Jersey holding it down. Shout out to New Jersey being our top listeners. Okay. Specifically, and I know you're going to hear this, but me and Colin had to Google it. There's a population in Flanders, New Jersey. We had to Google it. There's only like 9,000 people there, but there was a high rate of people clicking there. The next highest is Minnesota. So obviously everyone in Winona, Minneapolis, St. Paul. So shout out to y'all. Where my native home of Michigan is like literally like 7th or 8th on the list. So
wow, your crew's doing very well.
Yeah, I think 3rd was New York and 4th was Cali. So shout out to Jersey, shout out to Minnesota, Cali, and New York, Michigan, and all my friends. Shout out to everyone in Clio and Caledonia. So I don't know if your friends or your family.
Fucking hear it.
If your family members over there, go fuck yourself. And if your friends, go fuck yourself. So.
Yeah. So the people who are watching, who are friends with those people, tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't
I just want to give a shout out to those states and a couple cities specifically that I looked up. Much appreciation, much love. It shows that you've been watching for a long time. Those cities. So yeah. Sorry to take the wind. I had to say it or I was going to forget it.
No, that's fine. Awesome. And then also on the list, we do have June guests that are going to be coming onto the show. Doctors, physicians, cool people. I have no
Preachers.
idea. What'd you say?
One of them's a preacher.
Oh, I thought you said something else. All right, fair enough. It's like, do you say bitches? What?
No, preach.
Looks like we got bitches coming on.
Damn.
We get fancy.
Hey, about to get real famous. So, check out some of our guests that we're going to be having on. They're brand new to the pod, so give them some time.
Give them some time. Be kind when they come. Be kind because they might not be.
Don't be a dick.
They might not be exciting, but some of them will be exciting. I don't know. We'll see.
Some won't be exciting. I can't wait.
Hello, my name is Juan.
Oh my. Well, Juan, let's have a conversation about mental health.
Yeah, it's from Napoleon Dynamite. Okay.
Juan. This is Pedro ass.
All right, I was close.
So, dumbass. Swear to God. So today we're going to be checking out a couple scenes from the show Unprisoned. Starring the annoying woman that I cannot stand at all. Kerry Washington. There she is. Kerry Washington. Yeah. It's like, all right, we got it. Stop showing your teeth. Don't need to see them every second.
Stop
Jesus.
body shaming.
Too late. All right. So this show is all about a man going to prison and his daughter and all the trials and tribulations that they have to go through in daily life. And so one of the first scenes is Paige, and she's talking with her inner self, and what she's kind of going through at the time, because she just broke it off with her boyfriend, who's also the
Dad's parole officer.
yeah, parole officer, a PO for her dad. So that's fun. And then she finds out that her son went to one of the prisons without her grace, without her good graces. There you go. That was the first scene, and then the second scene is actually the dad, Edwin, going to Maul, who was the PO, and kind of talk to him like, "Hey, man, can I stay with you? I need a place to stay." And Maul pretty much tells him no because they just broke up. So, and how he pretty much fucked up his daughter by going to prison and being an asshole.
Yeah.
That's just of it.
It's intense.
Anything before we get into the scene?
Vic's the one that recommended that I watch this. I was very hesitant because I wasn't the biggest Kerry Washington fan either. And the dad, he always plays an asshole, the dad, so I just don't enjoy him because he's just always like very standoffish and just he's just always a dick. So I had it on my save stuff on Hulu. Vic said watch it, so I was like, fuck it. And then she's a LMFT, marriage and family therapist. And so, yeah, we're going to get into trials and tribulations of her thinking that she knows everything. We're going to talk about relationships and insecurities and the traumas that we face and how it impedes and intrudes on our future relationships, current relationships later in adulthood. But specifically also, how therapists don't have it all figured out. And we got a lot of shit too. I'm not telling this to people like worry about us, but, grant us some grace. Grant everyone some grace. But then we're going to talk about how to repair some of these things. So what the hell's going on, and maybe give some people hope. So hopefully we can do some mending in this. So let's check out these scenes. Let's come back. Let's chop it up. We'll give some case studies, some examples, and then like kind of what we would do if this was our client. And then we're going to talk about daddy issues.
Good.
So she got mom issues, daddy issues. She got it all.
She got everybody issues.
Yeah, the girl's damaged.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't love anyone. All right. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. Okay. Time for the commercial. Sponsored by nobody.
Chex Mix. Oh.
Chex Mix. Sponsored by the Golden
No, I'm kidding.
Peaks Tea.
Yep. They're not an official sponsor, so please don't sue us. Thank you.
Yeah, they are not official sponsor. I just, it's something I had holding. Yep. All right, I'm done talking.
There you go.
Dad.
I'm not actually sure how he is. I haven't spoken to him.
So you haven't gotten him out yet?
No, and I'm not planning to. But also, I need to tell you something. I had sex with Bill.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was not expecting that.
Me neither. And I didn't do it because I want to be with him. I did it because I'm just really trying to figure out who I am and what I need.
And this is how you go about it? So we're done.
I want to be in love with you. I feel like I should be in love with you because you're so good. You're so wonderful. I hope that you know that there's literally nothing wrong with you whatsoever at all, ever. But I'm just not there.
Paige, this is about your dad. Okay? He got arrested, and now you're reacting.
No, it's not about my dad. I mean, yes, him getting out and coming to live with me and now getting arrested has made it super duper clear that every choice I've ever made in every relationship is really because I've never dealt. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. It's maybe a little bit about my dad, but.
Yeah. I don't know if you believe this or not, but you deserve to be with somebody great. You really do. But no one great is going to put up with any of this. So whatever you have going on, I hope you figure it out.
Can you believe this bitch is trying to tell you she knows how you feel? But sorry, her dad wasn't in jail. Her boyfriend was. And you can leave a boyfriend anytime you want. But a dad? You're stuck with him forever.
Wait, stop.
You stop. I'm ranting.
No, I'm just getting something that I wasn't getting before. I think that I need to talk to you. I think that there are things that you need me to say in order for you to feel safe.
I'm listening.
Oh, man. I'm so sorry for everything that you've been through. That your mom left you, and you had to stay in all those foster homes. That your dad went to prison. And I am double, triple sorry that I have not been there for you in the way that I should have. Come here. People are going to leave you. But I will never, ever leave you again. So you can relax. Okay? You can go play. Go be a kid. You don't have to take care of me anymore because I'm gonna take care of you.
Okay.
I want to thank you, man.
No need to thank me. It was a bullshit charge, and I'm just not down with bullshit.
Can I come in for a second? I was hoping you might let me stay for a couple days, just till I get... No. Yeah, I just didn't want to be a burden on Paige,
I get it. Sorry. But no, Edwin, I'm your caseworker. I'm not your friend.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're almost kinfolk.
We were. But not anymore.
You okay, man?
No, I'm not okay because I broke the #1 rule of my job. I got personally involved with a client, and my clients are not the kind of people that you want to be personally involved with because hurt people hurt people.
She ended it, didn't she?
Yeah. She ended it, but not because of me. You know why she ended it? Because she can't take in the love of a good man. She doesn't recognize it walking down the street, and you know why? Because she's never goddamn seen it before. And you know why? Because you abandoned her when she was 3 years old, and then you kept on abandoning her. And then every time you took her back, you taught her that men are unreliable, untrustworthy, and selfish. That they will continue to use her to feel good about themselves, then hurt her and leave her. That is what you did. And now she is paying the price. And so am I.
They ain't got no excuses, man. I don't have anyone to blame but myself. I should have known better.
I should leave, man.
Yep. You want to stay at the halfway house? Legally, I'm required to take you in, but it's up to you.
No, I'm straight. Thank you for everything.
Yeah.
So we are back.
And we're live.
And we're live.
Like a tostada.
We just, yeah, okay. Tostada. Mexican's coming out of you. All right, here we go. So, first thing we watched was Kerry Washington's character Paige breaking up with Maul because she slept with her ex. Don't recommend that, by the way. You know, and then just she did it so casually. She was more pissed off about her son actually going to a prison than her, you know, breaking up with her boyfriend after cheating on him because she's not in love with him. Like, great.
Yeah, it was so confusing. She's like,
therapist.
She's like, I'm going to do this to find out if I love my boyfriend. I'm like, well, if you need to have sex with someone else to figure out if you love your boyfriend, you probably don't love him.
Yeah, no. It's probably a no in that department.
Probably a no.
Yeah. So
lacking common sense.
Lack of everything, really. She's not a bright bulb in the show, apparently. One scene I've seen, 2 scenes, 3 scenes I've seen her in. Already fucking hate her. Can't watch it. Can't watch the show. Hate her before I saw any of the scenes, but you know what? Really hate her now. But so, like I said, her father went to prison, and she has been really dealing with the effects of that decision. I haven't seen the show, so I'm not huge on the context. So, Na said, you said that she also had some issues with her mom.
Yeah, so they don't talk about mom often, but the premise of the show is Unprisoned, and so thus the dad gets out of prison after I think 7 or 9 years, something like that. Could have been even actually longer than that. Maybe it was like 17 years. But he's in and out of the joint for a long, long time. Then there's a really long stretch. So mom left him when they were very young. Dad's taking care of the kid. Dad takes care of the kid, but he's like trafficking drugs. He's like a driver and just trafficking drugs. Gets in and out in prison. He gets this white lady that he's hooking up with. That's kind of like his partner in crime with some things. And so he leaves her with this stepmom-ish, the girlfriend. He leaves her with the girlfriend, custody. And, you know, they got issues, right? She's not doing well. Fast forward, Kerry Washington's got a child now. He's like a teenage boy. The lady that was his partner in crime is now working for the mayor. So she's gotten clean. She's doing her thing, got her business. In the show, they labeled the white lady as borderline personality disorder or cluster B. They say that she's cluster B. I'm like, I can see some of that. Yeah, I think it's just pretty derogatory. I think Paige is more cluster B, honestly, than what the mom was. The mom was a little erratic and kind of mean and volatile, but not really. Just kind of premise is the trials and tribulations of her dealing with her dad, getting fresh out of the pen, and her wanting him to do well, but always being anxious and always being mad at him because he's let her down a million times. So she's like, fuck you. Why should I trust you?
Right.
But then she turns and she starts to like trust him and he does better. And that's the story is he does better. And then she just continuously gets fucking mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
And she thinks that she knows everything. And so that if you want to get angry at a character, Spence, like legitimately, I was very angry at her a lot. I understood many of the things that she went through, but I'm like, girl, you're making so many fucking wrong choices. It's horrible.
See, I can't. That's one thing for me. Like, I can't watch a show that I'm constantly just angry at characters, you know? Because I don't have to love every character, but at the same time, if I hate them enough, I don't want to watch it. Yeah, it does. Like I can watch Thanos all day. I don't hate him. I, you know, I don't like the things that he does, but that means doesn't mean I hate him. He's a good villain for that. I can respect a good villain. But once you're just like a piece of shit normal person, it's like, why am I watching you? I can deal with that in normal life.
So, to be fair, she's not like a super terrible person. She's like a solid person, but in a relationship, she keeps making mistakes, and then she's a little overbearing as well. Yeah,
Even that.
the
Can't do it.
writers in the show wrote her very well because for them to make you dislike her, because you should like her because she's a therapist,
Right.
right? And she's like helping people, but then you're like, wait a minute, this shit ain't adding up.
Like, she really fucked up.
She is, and then that's what we're going to get into in scene 3 is talking about why.
Yes.
So, right, Vic is the one that recommended this, and then go figure you haven't even seen the whole goddamn show.
It's like, you know what?
Hey.
This one scene.
Episode 1, you'll like it.
I watched 80%. I'm like 2 episodes and I'm done.
Oh, you're teased.
Sorry, not even
Got
that.
it. She does love nuts. So scene 1. That's my bad. I thought Vic watched it all. But I picked the first scene because I thought it played well into the other two. He's a good dude, and they make you love this dude in the show. They make you like. Not only is he gorgeous, he's highly intelligent, motivated, good dude, helping out other people. They reference that he's gorgeous like 50 times in the fucking show.
Do they?
Do they though? He's a good looking motherfucker.
I think you're just like, they said he was gorgeous like 50 times.
So they're like
toothy daughter.
I know, that's why I did that. So they make you like him as a person, and then they're like trying to get you to start disliking her and the choices what she's doing. It's starting to get you to be cringy, like oof or ick about her choices. So she decides to have sex with her ex that was a piece of shit and pretty much married while dating her. And the dad gets out of prison. He's like, you're a side piece. He's like, you're a jump off. And she's like, no, I'm not. He's like, no, you're straight up jump off. You just don't fucking understand it. So then she talks to him, and then, it turns out that's what she is. But she's like constantly wanting to text and constantly wanting to see what he's doing and stalk him. She can't get him out of his mind, even though he doesn't really care about him. So eventually he leaves his wife, probably because like she hated him, or like, right, not probably because he chose to. And then that's when she decides to sleep with him, supposedly to figure out herself, even though she's in a committed relationship with the parole officer. But then again, the dad said that you're not even in love with this parole officer. You just like him because he's a good dude and you want to be a good person, but you don't actually like him. So she's got a lot of stuff. She got a lot of stuff when it comes to relationships, and a lot of people do. So, Vic, what did you think about when you saw the scene?
Well, I was pissed off because, like you said, the parole officer is a really likable guy, despite the fact that he's fucking his parolee's daughter. But
yeah,
it's like, girl, like, let's get it together. Like you said, like he's a good guy, and I feel like she felt pressured from her dad. Like when dad first got out the joint, he was like, "You need to stop messing with these white men and the black guy." So I think he kind of planted that seed, like, date a black guy. The next guy date a black guy. And so he's like, well, what do you have to lose? So I think maybe feeling that pressure from dad and trying to like mend or have some sort of relationship with dad, like, well, maybe he's right, because he mentioned something like, oh, you're a jump off. And if you weren't, then he wouldn't tell or do certain things around you. Correct. And so when she saw that, she was like, okay, maybe he knows what he's talking about a little bit. So then maybe that kind of set the tone for, all right, maybe Bill's not the guy for me. He's playing me. And she started seeing signs herself. So then, when the black guy started making his moves, the PO, she's like, well, I'll give it a try. But I really feel like dad's pressure and societal pressure of her being a black woman that, okay, I need to be with a black man and a white man's not going to treat me or respect me. Or I think maybe, her trying to figure out her identity on top of the daddy issues. That's probably why she was kind of just like, oh, like, I don't know, like, let me try to figure it out and give it a try. But she messed over a good dude. And it's like, you wasted his time, Something that stuck out to me when she was having that conversation with him was, I need to figure out who I am. And I was just like, you need to figure out who you am, but you hurt this person. And the end result, like, you're hurting people along the way and finding who you are instead of taking that time and saying, all right, I need to just work on me and figure out things that I like or dislike without another person or other people being involved. So
I agree.
it's kind of messed up, but that's part of the show.
It is. It's part of the show, right? I mean, if everything was just perfect, then there wouldn't be a show. We wouldn't watch it because it was like, oh, she works on herself, she's single, and then she dates and finds a healthy individual. That's not a show anyone wants to watch. They want drama. They want chaos. They want shameless. So kind of what me and Spence were talking about a couple podcasts back called The Grand Crew. We were talking about like this whole phase. But that, and I co-signed the whole phase. I'm cool with it because you're doing that after you got all this relationship and now you're single, you're being upfront with what's going on. You're looking for what you like, don't like, taste, interests, personalities. And so that, you shake your head in laughter, but it like, some people may go through that. No, when Vic, was fresh out of the relationship, I might have been like, hey girl, go do what you got to do.
Yeah. Be a hoe, Vic. Be a hoe.
Nope. That's not me.
No,
it's not my DNA.
And technically you ain't, I just said go on some dates. I said go on some dates, go talk to people, go do things. And everyone's immediately thinks I'm talking about.
So it's like, go be a hoe.
And I'm like, I never said that.
You just did, but it's fine.
Fine. Hoe with your emotions.
Go hoe with your emotions.
That sounds even worse. That sounds.
Send out your hoe time.
Yeah.
Clock in. It's hoe time.
It's 5:00. Time to get to hoeing.
Hoe time. Just punched in my clock.
Yeah, I'm on duty. I'm on duty. But I can co-sign that. I've got clients that are fresh out of breakups and we're processing and working through things. And they're going on dates and experiencing things and talking about things. And we're talking about emotional, physical, intellectual intimacy, all those things. But in a relationship, in a committed relationship, I can't co-sign that. I can't co-sign you hurting someone because that's not what we're doing. So I would never co-sign that. And you think as a marriage and family therapist that she would understand some of these things. I think that because Maul was such a good dude, she feels like him being good can make her good, make her feel good. Kind of like how we talked about Beef last week. Right? She married that good dude and some of that goodness will rub off on him. Maybe if this good dude really likes me and really loves me and shows me all this tension, maybe I'm not broken and a piece of shit and I do deserve better. And I've got people that come to me like this, men, women, doesn't matter. And they think that they're in love with the individual and they want to be in love with the individual, but they're not because there's still some stuff that they need to process and work through. And the funny thing is they'll be like, they're such a good person. I don't want to break up with them. I said, sometimes good people, that's awesome. They're a good person, but they're not your person.
Right.
Right. And this isn't no whole phase, no cheating. I just got a lot of students that it's a wonderful dude, it's a wonderful individual. And then there's this guilt and shame of not wanting to break their heart. Or sometimes they'll date their best friend for years and years and years. But now it's run its course. Or now you've grown out of it and you found yourself being too dependent. And now you want to see what's out there because you've seen you're too dependent. You don't talk to anyone else, not a lot of other friends, not a lot of experiences. You don't know what your identity is other than you being with them. Okay, so now I can see you wanted to jump boat. And I can co-sign that. And I love working with those clients too, because it's not like they come to my office, I'm breaking up with their ass. I'm like, okay, slow. I never have to slow people down. We legit process it, talk about it. They're anxious, they're sad, they're fucking terrified. Good majority of the time it's with my neurodivergent clients, and they're trying to figure out how to say like they don't like this person, or they don't want to be physical with this person anymore, or they don't want to let this person down because they helped regulate them for so many years as friends, and then now they're partners in a confusing friendship with romance. So it can be intense letting good people go. And the question I always get is, what if the next person I get is a legit piece of shit? What if I'm only going to meet fucking terrible people after this? Why would I let this good one go when I have no fucking clue what's out there? But I'm like, homie, you can't be hurting them. Why would you be continuously hurting them, and then you're technically hurting yourself because you're not in love? And I'm not talking about whole love where you just mushing parts together. I'm talking about like the stuff after sex dies. That's love. I'm talking about when you're taking the shit and the door is open. That's love.
Yep, that's the biggest love you can ever get.
Hey, girl, we got toilet paper.
Not what's inside of me. That's love.
Damn. When'd you have spinach? You cheating on me again, ain't you? Damn it. I make some jokes, but I know it can be complicated. I know I dislike her in this stuff. I do feel empathy for her, which can lead into the next scene.
Okay.
Which is Spence explained it earlier as the first scene, but I confused him. But we're gonna do this scene specifically on the little girl, and I'm gonna throw it back to Vic because you said you've seen some similarities and some stuff. So, what did you see in that second scene when she was talking to her younger self? And yeah, let's go from there.
So definitely traumas with men, some abandonment issues, some attachment issues. Being that, we look at kids from a developmental standpoint, we look at those initial attachments, and your initial attachments are mom and dad. We're not going to talk about mom right now, but dad, being that dad hasn't been around, she hasn't had the proper modeling of, okay, this is what a man is like or what a man should do or be like. And all she's ever known is him popping in and out of her life, making these promises. I'm not going to go back this time. This time is going to be different. So when you see in the first episode, he's like, I promise this time is going to be different. And she's like, yeah, I heard this all before. She's so used to him coming and going in and out of her life, being pacified, that she has these trust issues, and then she has these unhealthy attachments to men, and she's kind of settling, like how she settled for Bill. Like, Bill's married, and she's like, oh, but he's getting divorced. And it's like, sis, he's married. He's already taken. But You're like, I'm going to settle. I'm going to wait because he treats me well so far. And it's like, but he's married. You couldn't find anybody else. And you're a family marriage therapist. So it's like, come on.
I couldn't figure it out at all, Vic. When I seen that, I was immediately like, all right, this is fucking stupid. So
so it's like, I think about that. Obviously, that the first trauma has started with her dad. The premise of the show, her being in the foster care homes, and her having to kind of govern like that inner child. Like you could tell just based on her personality, like she's had to take on being a responsible adult at a young age. So she doesn't know what it's like to, to date or be in a healthy relationship because she's never experienced any of those things. She's always had to be responsible. As you see in a previous scene where she's telling her son, you didn't ask for permission to go to jail. And it's like, it's so funny the way she says it, but it's like, she's just so keen on, we have to follow the rules and check off each box, that there's no gray area. It's, she sees things with blinders on, and it's just like, take a step back here. And we sometimes will see that in our clients, like how you mentioned before, like perfectionism and having to take care of others at a young age and being the third parent or just taking care of family members in general, and not having that time to kind of feel or understand or identify, develop that identity that you have.
Yep.
And then you kind of mentioned how some men would have like a life crisis because all they ever known is going to work and taking care of family, that they forget themselves along the way, and they're not I guess making time for their inner child or being being childlike or just enjoying things or pleasurable activities throughout life, and it's just work work work, responsibility after responsibility. So you kind of see that with Paige. She's never had that. She's always had to protect her inner child and not let it out the box or roam and explore things. So it'd be interesting, if she had that. I mean, we probably wouldn't have the show,
Correct.
obviously. Should probably be the more healthy lifestyle, but those are things to kind of think about. And, I'm sure you've seen those things in your line of work, and we all know somebody or people
We know
that
people.
kind of,
Yeah,
display those things.
we all know those folks, man. So the show says it's based on some truly fucked up shit, and I don't know if it's based on a true story, but I know that this story is very common for many people with incarcerated parents, or many people with just like the breakups and the family issues and fighting, right? And then maybe they're not healthy. A lot of people that are going through substance abuse issues with their family members, right? And then their caregivers are in and out of incarceration. So this is some really common themes. This is some reasons why a lot of folks, specifically, probably going to be not as wealthy, right? They're going to be more poor folks because they're being incarcerated, hard to get jobs. You're going to find Black and brown communities, and you're going to be some white communities as well. It's just tough to get out of that economic status, that socioeconomic status. And there's so much chaos. And with that chaos, with lack of money, there's lack of nutrition, lack of resources, lack of education, lack of food, lack of exercise, just a lack of many different things that can lead to a healthy life. So what do you become what you're around. And so you see a lot of unhealthy things. Kids are fucking terrible, which we've talked about many times in the podcast. Bullying, fucking terrible, mean. I was probably terrible until college. And so I could see where she has to deal with the family. So as folks know that have been listening to us since day one on the pod, right? Pops was incarcerated. Ma was cluster B. She kind of is like the white mom in this thing here, Nadine. And so it was intense, and you got to grow up quicker. So I recommend a lot of clients, I'll go back into my story, get the book. I always give this to my students, The Drama of the Gifted Child. It's going to give you a ton of case studies, and it's been updated in revisions about how kids are super intelligent, super smart, and they start solving puzzles in the family household. So if there's a lot of fighting in the house, you start to try to make both of them happy and walk on eggshells and try to soothe them to make sure that shit doesn't pop off. If people ain't paying bills or people aren't regimented or outside the house, right, you're trying to get them to go get to their appointments or get to this. If someone is maybe disabled in the family or like a lot of anxiety, depression issues, or just a shit, they get a lot of attention. So then the other kid doesn't get that much attention, and they actually withdraw themselves to take the pressure off the mom and dad, to take the pressure off the parents. So these highly intelligent individuals will start becoming very anxious and very self-sufficient, but also they never get to really form their identity because they're always caregiving. Maybe you don't see that they're caregiving, but they are. And the parents don't notice it because they're focused on the other issues, or they're not focused at all because they're neglectful as shit or absent parents. So I highly recommend people read that book. If you're in therapy and there's any issues with you kind of like a parent dynamic, or just feeling like you have to grow up soon, or just a lot of anxiety, a lot of maturity that had to happen, read Drama of the Gifted Child. You will enjoy it. It's intense. So read it chapter by chapter if you want to. So like with me, with mom, there's a lot of that, having to grow up quicker. I think the other day we talked to me and Spence and Serena about driving. And Spencer was like, oh yeah, it was, Ma taught me this and that, right? And I was like, I literally just watched my mom drive, and then I hopped in the car in 7th grade and started driving myself to school. So we're looking at like 12 or 13. I just watched. and then I just stole the car. And then I drove to school and high school multiple times, sometimes even on the highway, like 20 minutes. Barely see over the steering dash. It's not safe, but the dynamics in my life have been interesting. The maturity has had to increase exponentially. And even with Pops, there was a certain maturity that I had to learn because he forced me to learn. I remember him specifically saying, "You're not 13 anymore." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, 15. Chill out, bro. I'm like, "He's a grown ass man." I'm like, "What?" I still got shit stains, man. Like, I still ain't figuring out how to wipe my ass that well. Like, so some of us have to grow up quicker. I would like to acknowledge that many of us that go through a lot of stuff end up going into caring professions. You will also see a higher clip of women going into these professions because they're, I'm using quotations, caregivers. Women, societal norms, gender roles will put women into the caregiver roles, such as teachers, healthcare professionals, mental health professionals. And then some of the dudes that you'll see in there, that's usually because they've been through some stuff as well. And so they've been kind of groomed as a caregiver, and that's why they're fascinated about it. Or they've seen how fucked up their family is, and they think they want to therapize people. Thus, they get a psychology degree. Because it's intriguing to go to these classes and to see things in your family dynamics. And you're like, oh, y'all motherfuckers are crazy. Okay.
What family is it?
Yeah. Yeah. You a legit alcoholic. Oh, okay. Like, I should have knew that without a college degree. It took me $40,000 to figure out I was an alcoholic. That's a joke. It's readily apparent from the multiple DUIs. So I've dealt with some of these things, not to the issue where the dad here was kind of a deadbeat-ish, but I found it very interesting where every corner he would take, he'd get shit on. Couldn't get his license, couldn't get his birth certificate, tried to get a job, shit gets stolen, tries to get another job. Hey man, you got a felony, we can't hire you. It's just really tough. So the recidivism and the ability to get out of your economic status is almost impossible. Statistics will show that majority of people will not leave. By majority, I mean like 90-some%, will not leave their economic status. What you were born in is what you will stay in. But then people are like, the American dream. A little bit shadier than what you think. A lot of people do make it out of it. A lot of people don't. Back to the child thing. You talked about the person in the chair. Empty chair technique. So therapists will use it to get you to speak to this individual, this entity in the chair. So you got mom, boyfriend, whatever. You role play it. So it's a role play. I like to call it narrative therapy, or we can call it Gestalt therapy, different types of therapy of getting you to express yourself. So often I'll talk about the little kid. I've talked about it on the podcast of nurturing them and being with them, having their multiple identities. This is the first time I've ever seen it played out in a show. So 100% there was a therapist that helped write the show, or they facilitated some discussion with the writers. Or,
which is awesome.
Or a good majority of motherfuckers like in that writing room been in therapy because they all got shit. So
We're gonna go with the first one. They consulted with therapists.
Let's go. They consulted with their own therapist. Hey man, I'm writing a show about fucking my trauma. Well, let's talk to this empty chair and see what it says. What? I remember I had an individual do this, and they started bawling. Whenever you bring up the child, and people usually start bawling about it, because it's tough to deal with those issues. It's tough to talk to the younger version of yourself that's been traumatized, that's been through some shit. And so I remember I seen them, a couple of weeks or maybe a month later. I was like, hey man, remember what I said? And he's like, don't you fucking bring up that little kid shit. I was like, it's okay, man. Let's talk to homeboy. And he's like, no, don't bring that shit up again, man. Because they didn't want to cry again. Because that shit hurts. So, wonderful technique. If you yourself have some issues that you need to look at, or you're getting that middle age, 20s, 30s, 40s, or legit middle age, 45, 50, somewhere in that age, and you're going through some shit trying to be revitalized, Know that it's like the little kid in you that never got any playtime. So maybe you need to revisit that. I'm not saying you need to buy 50 fucking stuffed animals like me. But maybe you do some things that are fun and exciting instead of being like some of my students that have done only schoolwork. And when they get to their graduate school, they realize that they've wasted so much time and sacrificed and they're depressed as fuck. Because like, what did I just do? I won't get those years back. I'll never be 20. I'll never be 19 again. It's like, yeah, you kind of fucked off some years, but now let's talk about how we can like do some fun stuff now. I'm not going to knock her completely. I do have some empathy for her because she's been through a lot of shit. So like I get some of the stuff. It's just sad that she hurt some other people, but leads into our third scene. So the third scene is right. The parole officer, Mal, talks to the dad. Vic, I'm going to get your thoughts on that scene. Then Spence will get your thoughts on that scene too, because that was by far the best scene.
So, first, I thought it was interesting how Dad was like, "Hey, can I crash at your place?" And he's like, "Nah, playa. Like, it's just a conflict of interest. You know, it's ethically not right." And it's like, "But sir, you fucked his daughter, so you can't make this one exception. Like, this one time, you can't make this exception." And he's just
If
like,
he,
"Nah."
I'm wondering if he was still sleeping with her. Would he have done it like and let him stay there? I don't know. Either way, it's bad. It's bad.
I feel like he probably would have.
Me too.
Yeah. So it's fucked up either way. But the PO did mention some things like, "Hey, you're the reason why your daughter is so fucked up because you weren't there and you've been making these promises and she hasn't had the proper modeling." And he really told Dad what he needed to hear. Like it was hurtful, probably something he's probably heard, but maybe coming from another man, particularly black man, maybe that hit home for him. Like, damn, like I have been fucking up over the years, and maybe why my daughter can't love or be in a healthy relationship is because she's never seen one. She's never had a good parent figure or someone that's been consistent in her life to show
Consistent.
her this is what it should be like. So I thought that was good that the PO could relay that to him, but yet still in that moment, it's like a lot of boundaries were already crossed. And I'm just still stuck on like, you couldn't just let him stay one night. Like, he's like, "Nah, I can drop you off at the,
The
three-quarter
shelter.
house." He's just like, "Nah, I'm good. I'll figure it out." But it's like, why didn't he give him that along the show as a resource? I think that would have been maybe a little bit better for Dad starting off than him living with the daughter, but I digress.
Well, he was supposed to live with his homeboy, but then his homeboy was like, still living that gangster life, and so the daughter's like kidnapped and is like, "Yeah, you're gonna move in with me."
Yeah, that was a good situation for him to go back there.
And she hated her father so much for all the shit, and that's why she didn't want her son to go to the jail to go see him when he got rearrested.
Because she didn't want him to have the same lived experiences.
She didn't want to have the trauma. And I'm not gonna lie, most of the time going into the prison, it was never bad. The worst part was leaving. So when you go there for like, whatever time it was, an hour or whatever it was, and then you leave, and then as a kid, you fucking remember that you don't have that person, that they're only there for a few minutes. And then you waste time playing in the kids section while your parents are talking. And you're like, what the fuck? I saw you for like 5 minutes. So that's some of the fucked up trauma things that you have to deal with when you're a kid. I don't think really a lot of parents think about that when they take their kids. Like, it's wonderful to go see the parents, but then also I remember going once and I was like so devastated. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So we didn't. I think also maybe Pop said something too to my mom, like, stop bringing him, man. It's like, it's not good. I don't know really how it all went down, but shit was weird. Because of the devastation and the grief, you have to keep reliving the grief. So, I mean, I get that. The thing is, she had that non-consistent love, which at least I did have consistent love from mom. I had it from others too, but specifically when Pops was out, like legit love. Where her, it was always absentee and a longer period without her father. So what you're saying is it's so ingrained in her, right? The anxiety, the insecurities, the doubt, the hatred, the defensive. And think about this, Vic. The person that starts to date someone that's dating someone else is a person that doesn't want to be in a real committed relationship. It's another way of avoiding. You're saying that you're putting yourself out there, but you're getting with people that aren't gettable. You're getting with people that aren't attainable unless you're still self-sabotaging. So it's you dating people that, you know, are super fucking long distance, not because you're okay with long distance, because you know that you don't really have to put a lot into it. You know that there's room for error. So if they're gone, they're gone. And so technically,
right, so if they leave me, I'm not losing anything.
Yes.
And
there's
not a lot of expectation.
There's not a lot of expectations, but this is all subconscious. So this wouldn't be a conscious thing. This would be a thing that you do over and over and over as you get with people that are unavailable because you're unavailable. So that's where you get into the real deep shit. And that's when you have the breakthroughs with clients and they're like, fuck, I'm fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, brother. I mean, you're not good. So
Okay.
you're not.
But then you get into it with the clients that have the insecurity issues, and that comes out in the relationships. Like it was kind of mentioned earlier, like those clients who have insecurities, they need a lot of affirmations that they're doing good or that they're good. It's like, you should know that you're good. You don't need to be validated all the time. But you have people in relationships like that that's all they know. I mean something when I'm constantly validated or affirmed that I'm doing something right. Like, for instance, my job, I don't need my supervisor or superior to tell me you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I'm doing a good job. I don't need the affirmation, but it's I hear from my clients that I do intakes when they're like, "Thank you, it was really nice working with you today." That's positive feedback. But I don't need to hear from my supervisor, even though she just told me last week, like, "You're doing a great job." I'm like, "Thank you." Like it's hard for me to. It's like you're paying me to do that, so I don't know. I guess it's just me.
No, you don't have to have it all the time where others are more insecure. And thus me and Spence have talked about it a bunch of times in his relationship. Right, he doesn't need it constant. And then also his partner doesn't need it constant. But there's not the neediness. And so like I heard in a different movie I was watching, you know, you don't know that you're safe and secure in your relationship unless you're right up their ass. That was me fisting. Yeah, I'm done.
God.
Okay, yeah, I went too far with that. And then pulling it out like a Chipotle burrito.
Yeah, real smart to explain that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one got
it. And so I like that me and Spence have talked about that before a ton on the pod. There's certain ways, but you and your partner got to co-sign that shit. Like both of you got to be on the same page. The other one can't be left in the wind, and you'd be like, "Honey, I love you. Go fuck yourself." What? So right, it's what is the communication that both of you agree on? And she just doesn't know. And so many couples just don't know. I got one individual I remember working with, like they're losing their shit and freaking out and bothering their partner constantly. You love me, right? You love me, or you're gonna leave me. I know you're gonna leave me. Then they'll text and text and text. So I said, "How many times you call them?" When they didn't answer, she said, "Oh, like 15." I said, "Let me see."
Damn.
No, wait. I said, "Let me see." I'm gonna get closer to the microphone. They said, "Okay, it's a little more." I said, "How many?" She said, "More." I said, "Let me see." Over 60 times they called them.
60?
60. I said, "Okay, so this is now OCD. This is more than just anxiety. This is now OCD, and you know we're gonna work on some medication and stuff because this is inappropriate." So then we worked on some stuff. We set some limits. I actually quantitative limits, no more than 3 phone calls or 3 texts without them responding back to you, and then we're gonna have to soothe ourselves before we push them away. And you will then validate that you're a piece of shit at that point in time. That's what you're going to do.
Fair.
And they would look at me like, Nas, I'm fucked up. I said, yeah, but we can work on this, and you've gotten better. So I remember one time the individual said something to me, and I said, you know what? I don't know what to tell you, man. I feel sorry for your partner. And I knew that was going to destroy them. And they told me that the next week. She said, why would you say that? I said, kid, you can't keep traumatizing this boy. He needs therapy. This isn't fair. You can't keep hurting someone because you can't control your stuff. I get he's wonderful and their mom loves you and all that, but we got to really start working on this stuff. And things did get better. We tried different couple medications, tried more behavior therapy, cognitive therapy. They do get better. If you actually want to get better, things can get better.
That's the thing. If the person is willing to put in the work, if they want the help in the relationship, it can't just be one person co-signing and the other's like, I know there's something wrong, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
Yes.
That part.
Completely correct. And so this person was willing to do whatever it took to make sure that this worked. And they were a fucking trooper, and they would tell me everything. They might have hided it from the doctor or getting the medicine. I said, you didn't tell the doctor that? I said, nope. So that's okay. I'm going to have to tell the doctor now. Okay.
He's like, you signed that ROI.
Yeah.
That release of information's about to get
You
told.
done said you're suicidal now, so now I got to report this shit because I got to write it down. So because, you fucked up so bad, you want to take your own life. Well, I'm not letting this happen, so we need to write it down. Then they get better. I'm going to give a case study, but I want to check in with Spence. You've seen the second scene, right? This is an actual, good acting in this scene by Maul. What were you thinking when you're listening to it? Just what were your first impressions just listening to it?
I don't know. It's one of those scenes where it's just like, I'm gonna tell you like it is. You're gonna learn something, and you hope like the next scene the dad does something and learns from it. But at the same time, it's just like, all right, dude, that's it. Like what you said that's it. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, I know I've been like a bad influence on my daughter. No shit. With the prison, like what the fuck? Of course I wasn't, the best fucking model person for her. And she didn't really have anybody else in her life. But at the same time, he's hurt and all that. So it's like he's kind of venting towards him.
Yep.
I think he should be venting towards the daughter as well, because she's a grown-ass adult and she made a very conscious decision. And although the trauma that played into, the part of her cheating, yeah, it was a choice at the end of the day. And so she made that dumb choice instead of just breaking up with him. It's like, if you break up with him and then sleep with your ex, that's fine. But, you decided to sleep with your ex and then just break up with your boyfriend. Or you use that to break up with him instead of actually just breaking up with him in the first place.
Actually, I think what you said there is probably very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
She did that just to sabotage the good relationship. She said she did it to prove to herself that she didn't want the ex or the partner, but she most likely did it to sabotage all of it, to prove that she was toxic.
Yeah, because she knew she wasn't going to get back with her ex, most likely.
It was pretty bad.
And so she pretty much just did that to sabotage her good relationship. And so I just think that a lot of people probably have seen that scene and they might have just drawn it up as, well, I have trauma in the past, so whatever, I did some bad shit.
It's not a free pass. Just because you got trauma is not a free pass to hurt people.
And that's what I think is a big message to send out to people, is that just because you have trauma in your life doesn't mean that you should be hurting other people or blame other people for dumb decisions that you obviously made by yourself.
Currently.
Like, that was a decision. Yeah.
Can you repeat that? Repeat that one more time.
I can't. I don't remember anything when I'm in this state. I black out.
I'm not gonna lie, neither do I. My clients would be like, "Nah, say what you just said again, so I can write it down." I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I just said. Like,
Yeah, I know.
the last we left off,
I was just so tired.
I talked
Basically,
about tostadas.
Tostadas. Basically, you said, you know, you can't use your traumas as excuses for why you hurt people.
Yeah,
It's got to be. You can't be like, well, I did this because this happened to me, or because you did this, or it's like, work on your shit. Just get your shit done. Work on your shit. Stop hurting people.
It's going to be a factor in your life and what you do, but at the same time, you are your own person. You can make those decisions by yourself. You know, she's obviously not like mentally handicapped. She's not disabled. Like, you know, she's not to the point where she doesn't know what's going on. She knows exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
She's a therapist. She cuts things down into the smallest degree and she understands what's going on. But, you know, and I just thought maybe personally, I think Maul should have just went off on her a little bit more than what he did. And, you know, and just spoke the truth more to her than to the father, because what's the dad going to do now with that information? You know,
yeah,
is he going to? He can't raise her just as much as she's been raised. You know, she's a grown ass woman. She has a kid. Fucking take your lumps and make sure that you know you actually learn from your experience. She didn't learn shit from any of that.
But he could be a better grandparent to his grandson.
True. And actually, he's a really good granddad in the show. I think what Spence is saying is kind of something to be said. I don't think that you need to take it easy on the dad in that situation, but also why would you kick him when he's down? He just got incarcerated.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to do well. It's really hard for life. You could push someone to the brink of suicide.
Help. He didn't come to him for, you know, this lesson in like how to be a father.
Yeah, it's not his. You know? It's not his fault in the moment that she did what she did.
Did he cause trauma that might have led to that? Maybe. But if he was a perfect dad and she did the same shit, then what?
Right.
There's nothing there.
You have to be accountable.
There. Yeah, be accountable for yourself. And let's be honest, when you watch that scene, does she learn anything? Does she go away from things being like, damn, I should have done this? No, she jumps to the next scene complaining about her fucking mom or her dad's
stepmom.
Girlfriend.
Yes, yeah, it's stepmom. She raised her for like 10 years or some shit.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like she doesn't, at least from the scenes that I've seen, it doesn't feel like she's being accountable for any of her actions that are actually going on. Yes, she told him about what was happening, but she should have came to him in the beginning and been like, hey, I'm having these issues. I don't think this is going to work out. I need to work on myself. Boom. There you go. And then you can do whatever the fuck you want after that. Mm-hmm. But like he said, hurt people hurt people, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Hurt people hurt others, man. It's tried and true. It's tried and true. Hurt people hurt others. There is one big issue in the entire show, and it's no one wants accountability.
No.
And, you know, I've been in these conversations. Obviously, I'm not going to get too much in it, but the dad fucked up. People fuck up. I get it.
Yeah.
But the dad doesn't want to take a lot of accountability because taking accountability for the things that you did and how it hurt your children is a very hard pill to swallow. That can lead to massive anxiety, depression, suicidality. You already know what you did wrong. Most of us, all of us that fuck up and fail or mess something up or whatever, we know we fucked it up. You don't need to tell me. I'm already kicking myself and feel like the biggest piece of shit on earth. I already don't feel like living. You don't already need to tell me. Just we both acknowledge that I fucked it up. That's it. Let's move on. And so you see that with the dad throughout the show. You see that with the stepmom because the stepmom is like accountable. She's like, yeah, I fucked up. She's like, I also did the best that I could. Your father went to prison. You're not even my fucking kid, and I took you in. I gave you a house. I tried to feed you. I was fucking doing drugs and shit. Like, so she stays accountable. The daughter says some things about being accountable. But it's like tough. And I think that's something to maybe point out is if you're neurodivergent, listen to the podcast or neurotypical, doesn't matter. is as you get older, if you screw up, just be accountable.
Yeah.
You don't always have to apologize because God knows I don't always apologize for the shit that I do.
Right.
But I will be like, okay, yeah, no, that was fucked up. That was fucked up. That's my bad. Yep, I'll do better. Sometimes I'll just say I'll do better, and I'll say that's my bad, and then I already know why. I already know what you're gonna say. Like boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna take care of it. Won't happen again. And people will be like looking for that. I'm sorry. If I am truly sorry, I'll say it. But sometimes I do things where I thought it was the right choice, and thus I don't really feel sorry because I thought it was the right choice in the moment. It turns out it wasn't. But if I did hurt some folks, then you're right. It depends. I don't just like throwing words out there. I like to have meaning when I say things.
Right.
If you're watching the pod, be accountable for your actions. If you fuck up, I don't care. If you mess up like her, like obviously I care, but be accountable afterwards. So this is the pretty much last scene of the entire series. What did she learn? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I'm not sure. I think the show did get renewed. It did.
It probably did, likely.
Yeah, no, I was looking at the renewals the other day and all the cancellations. Disney and Netflix just went on a binge of canceling shit.
Yeah. They need to save money.
Yeah. Hulu went on a binge of canceling stuff, but this is like somewhat of a network show. They kept it. Accountability is a tough one for anyone to swallow. I think people that are learning on the job, supervisors, therapists, just be accountable. In therapy, fuck up. Vet students check me. God, I remember saying one thing that was so embarrassing in front of people. It was in Zoom. I said something. I'm not going to say what I said because I'm so ashamed. And the student says, "Hey, I think you meant to say this. You said with the thing that you said is actually kind of fucked up. You meant to say this, and so I ain't mad at you, but like just do better." And it completely took me out of my trance of my presentation I was doing on Zoom. I was like, "What the fuck, Nas?" I knew the verbiage to say what I wanted to say, and I blew it. I'll never blow it again, but I blew it in the moment. Happens. Accountability is key. And you don't always have to forgive people. You don't always have to forgive people, but you can kind of move past the anger and hatred. Kind of like we were talking about in Beef, Vic. There's some shit that you need to let go because it's just going to destroy you. Like me and Spence talk about on the podcast with the Star Wars. The darkness shit just fucking kills you, man.
Yep.
What were we talking about the other day with Serena? The man called Otto, holding on to all that fucking nastiness, man. It led him to want to fight and kill everyone. And then he was going to miss out on all the time with his wife that she had left, even though she was paralyzed. How do we learn to let go? Hold people accountable. You don't always have to forgive. I'm glad you brought up those points, Spence. It's complicated. But like you said, and Vic said, for the cheap seats. You can't use your trauma as an excuse or to abuse your current partner or friends. That's not an excuse. You have to do better than what happened. Sure as fuck, don't be hypocritical. Diagnosis: she definitely has childhood trauma. Definitely has generalized anxiety disorder, and she definitely has some personality disorder issues. Could be avoidant attachment as well. Could be anxious attachment. Couple different things that are going on. What makes her very insecure, very anxious, very OCD, very protective. And she gets better throughout the show, but still it's a work in progress. So earlier I talked about people being dependent. I remember working with a woman came into my office. Said, right, I just got done breaking up with my boyfriend. We were like second grade sweethearts. They've been dating since they were puppies. And this person's gorgeous. Their partner was gorgeous. Both highly intelligent, right? It looked like a perfect couple on paper. And she said, I've been with them for so long. We broke up. I've been with them for so long. I don't know who the fuck I am. They were so anxious about everything. Everything. Had nothing to even do with the fucking relationship. Everything. Making sure that people are happy, presenting in a certain way, intelligent, looking good and attractive. Like all of it. They just didn't know who they were without all the pressure of being like also the perfect girlfriend. And so we were working together on our anxiety management, setting some boundaries. We worked on a lot of journaling and processing. So intelligent. She was actually the reason why I watched Star Wars. She shamed me for never seeing it, and she would do the binges. And she's not even like that super nerdy of a kid. But I binge watched Star Wars over the summer so that I could talk to her about it the next fall. And I remember one thing specifically I want to talk about because I've used it. She taught me something. She used this gratitude journal in a different way. She used it as an affirmation journal, but a gratitude/affirmation journal for herself. So in the back of her journal, if anyone ever affirmed her throughout the day, other than her beauty, because she was, like I said, gorgeous young lady. People say nice shoes, nice hair, nice whatever, right? You look good today. That doesn't count. Not for her. They said you're intelligent, or you're so kind, or thank you for doing this. You're a good friend. You were well spoken today. Any type of affirmation, any type of compliment that was other than her appearance, she wrote down in her journal at the end of the day. After we started that in the spring, so maybe like March, we checked back in the fall. She had a fucking list, pages and pages, of who she was and what her identity was based on what people said. Because she didn't believe shit. She was also anxious and always worried about the boyfriend and all the issues. She didn't believe anything he said. I love you, you're this and that. You just don't know because you were so dependent on that person. Who are you outside of the relationship? And so they broke up. And she did that journal. Now I recommend it for a shit ton of my clients. So they say something good, write it down. Because you will remember every horrible fucking mistake you made. And you will feel like shit. And you will remind yourself you're a piece of shit. Every day. But the good things you'll forget. So she wrote them down. We did some work on her anxiety. I coached her through some dating stuff. Go figure, she's getting dating advice and then how to text people on Tinder through me. I'm like, nice. This what you gonna type, girl. Send that motherfucker a gif of a Pokemon, you got him. She's like, I ain't doing that shit. Well, fuck you then. So we processed her anxieties, her likes, her dislikes, and she went on a few dates with some individuals, but we were just figuring out who she is and building her up. She was even anxious to travel. She was worried about her abilities of being a teacher and an educator. How could she be a strong, independent, intelligent woman, powerful woman, and then be so anxious and insecure? What's she going to teach the kids she's going to work with? What they're going to see now is they're going to know. So we built her up. Fast forward. I ended up seeing her partner in therapy. Didn't know that it was her partner at the time. Just a random motherfucker, right? Sorry for swearing. Could have just said random person. And, I always, because I remember me and her, we dogged his ass out quite a bit. Quite a bit. And then I meet him. I'm like, holy shit, this is actually a really good dude. And both of them were just very immature, but he's a legit good dude. And he was so ashamed of his behavior and breaking up. And he did the work, and we talked and we talked and we talked and we talked about intimacy, vulnerability, love languages, communication, how to know what's love, what's lust, how do you know this is your partner, how do you know that this is the person that you're going to die with. A lot of anxieties, right? There's a lot of that. You've been with this person since they're in second grade. You're fucking terrified. There's so many other people out there. So we worked through it all, and I think he told me they were starting to text a little bit, and I said, hey, God bless you. You're both healthy and happy, right? If it's meant to be, you'll talk and it'll be meant to be. I don't see any problem. Shoot her a text. I get an email after they graduated and they got married. I remember sending an email back to him. I said, what the fuck? I got no wedding invitation? I'm just saying, both y'all got healthy because of me and I didn't get shit. I mean, I ain't getting no cake. I ain't even getting no cake, motherfuckers.
I know the cake's the best part.
I know the cake, like food and shit. I would guarantee I would have been the only brown person at that wedding. But that's a different story for a different day.
Big surprise there.
Like, who's this big brown motherfucker eating all the cake?
That's my therapist.
I remember going
My
to
therapist.
both of their senior presentations, and they both were looking at me, and they both knew I worked with them because they were talking, but they didn't want to act like I knew, but I knew, and it was so awkward. They looked at me, I'd look at them, I'd look at the partner, it was so fucking awkward. Just confidentiality, right? I can't expose anything. Why do I talk about this? Majority of the time, this shit ain't about to happen where you get back together and you both do the work. That shit is a rarity. Both of them spent a year separately working on some stuff. Like Vic said earlier, it takes two to tango. Most of the time, you'll get one person that'll do a little bit of work, and then because they're alone, they go back. Or they'll accept someone that just says a few nice things. Oh, he said I look good. Yeah. The loudest motherfucker in the room will be the worst motherfucker in the room. If you're also confident, the dudes or the women that are going up to you and talking to you, those are the ones, they ain't got no anxiety. They're just going up to the next person after the next person. It's a numbers game. The more kind, the more patient, more empathetic, the more anxious people, they're not coming up to you right away. Especially if you're traveling in packs, like 2 or 3 people, we're not coming up to you. We're not coming up to you. It's the dirtbags that are coming up to you. And they're like, oh, they're confident. No, they're dirtbags. Let's stop. Let's call it like it is. Call it like it is. Shout out to my boy. You're a dirtbag. I'm not gonna say which one it is.
Damn.
You know who it is.
Yeah, I got one of them that's a straight up dirtbag. So and he'll be like, "No, it's just a numbers game." I'm like, "Yeah, man, you playing too many numbers. Like this is."
Pretty sure I saw it personally.
oh yeah. So you ain't seen this one. You got no clue. This other boy.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, he's a walking petri dish of STDs. So.
Oh, good.
That's disgusting.
Hopefully his wife doesn't hear this. So if they're still together.
Damn.
Yeah, she knows. She knows what you got to do.
She know he a hoe.
Starting around.
Yep. All right. Before we get out of here, treatment plan. Both of them, obviously, therapy. This is one legit thing where you need to be talking to someone individually. You need to do a lot of introspection about likes, dislikes, traumas, past, connections, avoidant. Why are you always seeking people that are unavailable? Why are you always unavailable? Why are you starting shit when there is no shit? Why are you looking for these things that you know are unhealthy? You need to do a lot of introspections and understand why. What is causing the behaviors, the thoughts, the beliefs? Behaviors, thoughts, beliefs. We can change some behaviors, and we can mess around, change some thoughts, and then we can get to that belief deep, deep, deep down. Now you can be in a healthy relationship. It's about healing. And those of you that know me know that I'm a single individual, but I know what love is. I've been in love. It's the right choice and right time. Imagine being me that's good at talking. It's a therapist. I know what to say and how to say it to get people to be enamored by me and to trust me. So it's kind of creepy knowing that I have that power because it's like, do I actually like the person or do I just want to have like fun and get some attention?
Manipulation.
Kind of a little sociopathic there. A little sociopathic, but Spence see me girl crushing on someone at the graduation, so right? So he knows it does happen where I get
to ignore it. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, he knows when I get attracted.
I need to see this.
It doesn't happen often, but if I get attracted to the jokes that you post, then I'm all in. So
See how motherfucker be talking about like burritos. You're like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
Burritos?
I'm like, girl, you understand these food jokes, huh? Okay.
Okay. I know you.
What did I tell one of my clients the other day? I said, you know what, girl? I said, you're a chubby person deep down at heart. You got a chubby heart. I said, man, that's probably not a good thing. You might need to get checked out.
Yeah, your cholesterol is really high right now. So
I said, you're just like my people. God. I said, you're just like my people. You're like a fat person. You just want to chill and eat and just sit in the house. You're a homebody that just likes eating. I said, you need a big dude. I'm sorry, because I know you be going after lacrosse players and shit, but like we gotta do a change of course.
Get some fat dudes.
I'm telling you, I said you need big people in your life, even if they're just homegirls or friends. You need some big people. She's like, you're right. I was like, you ain't gonna find none though, because I know you're not. Nope.
Nope.
You just gonna go on
swipe left.
Yeah, you just going to the pub. Yep. Just go up to the people, man.
He seems nice. Left.
Oh shit.
It's fucked up, man. Like he would treat me real well.
Nope. Don't need that in my life. Fuck that.
No, because I can't have nothing real.
Yeah.
All right. That was me having some fun, but also preaching. I don't know who I feel worse for in the moment. Is it her? Is it the son? Or is it the dad? I think I'm more worried about the dad.
Yeah.
The son learned a lot of shit from the dad. He's good. There's a scene that he cries about the dad. It was intense. I cried during that scene. But any folks that got any family members that went to prison or parents that went to prison and got out, this show will be a little weird for you. But enjoy it. I'm done, kid.
All right. Vic, anything else before we go?
Boundaries.
Everyone.
Boundaries, guys.
Okay, boundaries.
Everyone.
Set healthy boundaries.
There you go.
Partners,
healthy boundaries.
Friends. If you're a therapist,
yes.
Like fucking
As
yes.
you've seen in the show, the PO didn't have boundaries. Clearly, ethically.
She knew what she was doing. I don't. She did.
She knew.
She slept with her father's PO.
Yeah,
like she knew
and
exactly.
she also slept with the married man. So
yeah, but like he's the one that pursued her, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You know, I'm pretty sure. I don't know the law, but I'm pretty sure you can get in trouble for that.
But also, you have to understand too is that she knows that he's a good guy. She knows he's a good guy, so she wants to flip that. She wants to make him a bad dude. Like, ooh, let me get him in trouble.
Him a bad boy.
I've actually had this with couples. They'd be like, I want to break up with them because they're a good person. I can't do it. So I wish he would just fuck something up so I could be mad at him so I could break up with him. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to lie. That's toxic as hell.
It's not good.
It gives me a reason to break up with them. I'm like, just tell them they're not your person.
I don't understand the reason thing. Like, just do it. Like, what the fuck? Like, you have confidence enough when you're pissed off, but you don't have any confidence when he's being nice to you. Ah, he's so nice. I can't break up with him. Just break up with him.
You can do it.
Yeah. Just say, this isn't working out. No thanks. Bye. See you later. He'll move on because he's a nice guy. You won't move on because that's the thing. They always have to have somebody to blame. It's your fault.
That part.
Yep.
It's your fault. You're the reason why we broke up. All right.
Hard.
Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Appreciate it. Like I said before, check out our Google Drive. Lots of good resources in that. But then also leave a tip for us. Nas worked hard to put that together. So do it.
Don't say it.
That was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I already made that joke. Can't do it again. And we also have our June guests coming on. Different people, different vibes. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
I don't know any of them. So this is going to be fun.
To be fair, I only know like 2 out of the 10. So.
Oh, that's good. Can't wait for this. This is not going to be awkward at all.
It'll be fine. I'm pretty sure they're all neurodivergent, so we're just going to roll with it.
Oh my God, that's even worse.
Yeah, I know.
It's like they're not going to even notice.
No,
they'll notice.
They're going to be like, this is fine.
Talking about shitting on each other. I don't get it. What's the joke here?
Yeah. Did he just fist the air? Okay.
All right. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching. I'm Spencer. That's Nas. This is the Different Spectrums podcast. Bye.
Peace. Much love.
Bye.